The Byline Times have recently alleged that GB News presenter Dan Wootton had a hand in the downfall of former ITV This Morning presenter Phillip Schofield, with the publication suggesting that Dan's alleged discussion with the young runner at the National Television Awards in 2020 led to Phillip's subsequent public outing on live television. If Phillip Schofield had not told the world about his sexuality, the story of his involvement with a young runner on ITV This Morning would have come out at that time. These fresh allegations against Dan Wootton of a suspected blackmail plot have raised the question of who else could Dan have used these kinds of tactics on. Huw Edwards, by any chance? More on that later. It was 3 years after Phillip came out that the scandal of the young runner ultimately forced Schofield out of a job. Which raises the question once again, how did ITV and Holly Willoughby not know during those 3 years? Holly Willoughby was pictured with the young runner outside the NTA Awards in 2020 on the very night that Dan Wootton allegedly approached Schofield's lover and talked extensively to him, which was then quickly followed by the commencement of negotiations between the Sun newspaper chief Victoria Newton and Phillip Schofield's then agents. The Byline Times also alleged that Dan Wootton claimed that he would never out someone or assist in it being gay himself. However, the Byline Times state that the Schofield incident is one of a number of occasions in which the journalist was involved in revealing men in public life to be gay, which Byline Times said they will be addressing in forthcoming parts of its special investigation. Blinkerhole has long suspected that the scandals of Phillip Schofield, Huw Edwards and Dan Wootton are connected. Now, wouldn't it be a turn up for the books if the Byline Times alleged that Dan Wootton had a hand in the downfall of Huw Edwards too? Huw Edwards was accused of paying a teenager thousands of pounds for explicit photographs. Dan Wootton was accused of using a pseudonym to offer tens of thousands of pounds in return for explicit material. Does that not ring any bells? Could it be that Huw Edwards was also being blackmailed into disclosing his sexuality? Was Dan Wootton in touch with the young man involved in that case too? The BBC inadvertently told the world that the young person was a male, and it certainly is a possibility, just in our own opinion, that Dan Wootton's sticky mitts could have somehow been involved somewhere in the scandal. Blinkerhole also remembers that the former BBC News reader Huw Edwards' Mercedes SUV was stolen from his house in 2019 when Huw allegedly confronted a burglar at his London home at 5:30 a.m. while wearing only his pajamas, after being woken by noise as he slept upstairs with his wife. A source told The Sun he saw the criminal driving off in the car and trudged back to the house. He put it down to one of those things which happen when you live in a city. Forensic checks were carried out for fingerprints and DNA samples were taken, and the father of five's vehicle was recovered the next day. However, oddly, Huw Edwards later denied chasing a burglar out of his Dulwich home, tweeting, "Just for the record," following some misleading, shock press reports, "Yes, we had a burglary. No, I didn't chase the burglar. The police are dealing with it. It happened a month ago. We're all fine." His wife Vicky Flynn said at the time, "We had a robbery, but I don't really want to comment on it. The burglary has always stuck in Blinkerhole's mind, and we have often wondered if the incident was in any way connected to the scandal that ultimately left Huw Edwards' career and his state of mind in tatters. We may never find out." Huw Edwards has still not released a statement, and it's assumed that he is still receiving treatment for his mental health. Or could it be that he is biding his time until the results of ITV's independent investigation are published, and indeed patiently waiting for the outcome of the Byline Times investigation into Dan Wootton? In our opinion, that is definitely a possibility. It's been reported that no one expects Huw Edwards to return to the BBC. A senior BBC journalist summarised the verdict of large parts of the newsroom when it comes to Edwards' employment prospects, saying, "No one expects him to come back." And some of Edwards' closest colleagues said they have not heard from him in weeks. They said he is not responding to messages. Though the police declined to investigate the Sun's allegations, which were based on the testimony of the concerned parents of the young man involved, Edwards still faces an internal workplace investigation that will consider whether he brought the broadcaster into disrepute. Key individuals have yet to be updated on the progress of the BBC inquiry, which is described as still being at the fact-finding stage, suggesting there is no imminent conclusion in sight, with the presenter suspended and believed to be still on his full £435,000 a year pay. Please like and subscribe for more journeys through the Blinkerhole. For entertainment purposes only. Keep up to date with our latest investigations and hit the join button. If you like what we do, send us a super thanks. Official Blinkerhole merchandise is available in store.